Welcome to our first March edition of 2024 of the Our Town program this morning on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. My name is Darren Swenson, your host of the program. Our Town, as always, brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust. A little later on in the program, we'll have our monthly conversation with Decorah City Manager Travis Goedken. We'll also be talking to Dave Anderson. He is with the Turkey Valley Education Foundation. They will have their annual gala coming up a week from Saturday night. But our first guest this morning is Maddie Putnam from Wenatchee County Development, talking about a new career development services program between Northeast Iowa Community College, Wenatchee County Development, and the Decorah Community School District. Maddie will start the program right now. It's Our Town. It's brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust, and you're listening to it on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. Having a conversation this morning with Maddie Putnam. She is with Wenatchee County Development and Tourism, and we are talking about a new partnership to forge partnerships to bolster college and career services within the Decorah Community School District. And Maddie, in general, tell us what this program all entails.
So it's working with NICC and Decorah High School specifically to get students at the high school level more involved and into Decorah or into the community. So in local businesses, bringing local businesses into the high school, just finding more ways and more dynamic ways to connect students to our Decorah area businesses.
And what overall is the goal of such an idea, such a program like this?
So I guess it's twofold. On the NICC side, which we've contracted now some of my time with NICC. On their side, obviously supporting students, making them career ready so they can make really good informed college choices, and not necessarily whether it's NICC, not NICC, just knowing what's out there and knowing that there are such a wide variety of careers. You might think of the hospital, for example, and you think of doctors and nurses, but there's also your marketing team, your IT team. I mean, the scope is pretty broad. So on the NICC side, getting students just more career ready. And then for us in economic development, we want to see more people staying in Decorah. So we want young people, young families, everybody really to be in Decorah, stay in Decorah. So if we can connect high schoolers with businesses, and maybe that bolsters an internship, and then they go to school, and then right when they graduate, they have a full-time job because they have this intimate connection from interning, or they know a face at a business, then they're more likely to return or stay here and, be a part of Wenatchee County and our local community.
And from a high schooler's perspective, how important is it to start thinking about what potential careers there are for you, and how important is it to not be myopic in that thinking?
Yeah, I graduated not super long ago. I graduated from Decorah High School in 2020. So I remember kind of only knowing the careers that my friends' parents were in, or my parents or my family members were in, because that's what you're around. So you know the careers that you're around the most, and you don't necessarily get to see all these things that are out there. So like the job I'm in now, I had no idea, even through most of college, that it existed. And as soon as I just knew the work was being done. I just had no idea who did it. And as soon as I found out, I was like, this is really cool. So from the high school perspective, to know that like, you have options, whether you're going to school, whether doing an apprenticeship, whether it's 2-year, 4-year, whether you're just starting right away in the workforce, you have options. Is super important to know. And B, to know that there are a bunch of people out there who want you to work for them, but also want you to teach you about what they do, and want to make sure that you know what you're doing, and kind of train you, teach you, and to just know that, like I said, there's a variety of jobs out there, like the WinMed example or the hospital example, that there's just so many different careers that you don't always think about because they're not maybe flagged as much or as high profile. So just to be more aware on what you're doing is huge as a high
And
schooler.
And related to that, in the Decorah area, I'd imagine there's a lot of career opportunities in the Decorah area that might not come to the top of your mind, but they're readily available here. And I'd imagine a program like this makes young people aware that those careers are possible here in the Decorah area. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Because you think about like, oh, in order to have this job, I need to go to a big city. I need to go to Minneapolis, or else I'm never going to get that kind of job here. And that's not true. We know that in order to have a vibrant community, you have all kinds of jobs at different levels, different fields, and you can find a version of what you're looking for here. And maybe it's not even a Decorah, maybe it's in Calmer, maybe it's but in this area, you can find that job here. You just need to know the right people to connect with, which is kind of what we're hoping to do.
And obviously, in any field, education is very important, but I'd imagine this is a partnership that not only takes the educational aspect of looking for a career, but it puts it together with the practical skills, and that creates this collaboration. Am I on the right path there?
Yeah, yeah. And it helps obviously like partnering, I mean, being in the high school and knowing the students and then like working with Pat Truan, the guidance counselor, he sees these students all the time. So he knows like where those gaps might be, putting those practical skills in together into how finding a job might look like, or what being a doctor, or what being a teacher actually looks like day to day. If there's those questions, it really kind of puts that on the forefront.
How do young people get involved with this program?
So pretty basically one level of it is we're getting all high school students at Decorah have flex time, which is kind of like it's more education time, but you can use it as more of a study hall if you need to make up a test with an individual teacher. There's a lot of uses for it. It's flex in the name. And what we're doing is I'm working, like I said, with Pat Truan, and we're bringing speakers into the high school. So all students have to do is sign up for that flex time. Sometimes if Mr. Truan knows that there's a student interested in that, but he'll already put the student in that flex time, and then they can kind of choose. And other than that, it's kind of like we had a industrial science or industrial tech class that went to Calmer Manufacturing. So it's students that are already interested in that field that are going on some tours, and we're hoping to kind of create more visibility, elevate that, and make it more of a robust program so that students just know this is happening. It's really easy to sign up for, and this is what I need to do.
That's what covers what was in my notebook. I'm Maddie. What are we missing? Anything you want to add on this new program? And it's an exciting, innovative program as well.
Yeah, I just think it's really cool when we're all kind of coming together to support students and to support our community. This is a great way that Decorah students can be lifted up, and businesses can be lifted up, and the more partnerships and collaboration we can have, the better we're all going to be. So I'm really, really excited to be working on this.
Maddie, appreciate the information about this new program. Exciting times for young people and for the Decorah community and Decorah businesses. Thanks for taking the time to tell us all about it.
Thanks for having me.
Maddie Putnam with Wenatchee County Development and Tourism. Having a conversation this morning with Dave Anderson. Yeah, I talked to him way too much on the air this time of year, but this one about a very important cause, and a cause that's I know near and dear to his heart, the Turkey Valley Education Foundation Gala that's coming up a week from Saturday night. And Dave, first of all, tell us about the Turkey Valley Education Foundation. What's its mission? What's its purpose?
Well, the foundation was founded to enhance and support the opportunities for our students at Turkey Valley. That's the mission of the gala, or excuse me, of the foundation when it got started. Back in 2009, 2010, when that great group of people put that together, and so that's what our goal is. I've been in this board now for 10 years, and so we want to do everything we can to try to help our kids out, and this gala that we're going to be talking about is a huge important part of that.
And how long has the gala been a thing?
First year was I believe 2010, and so we're going on, not counting the COVID years, of course, when we lost when 2020 and then 2021 was a drive-through for us. So we've had one every year ever since, and again, not including those 2 years.
In the gala coming up a week from Saturday night, tell us what that event all entails.
Well, we'll start at 4:30, or 4:30 with our social hour, and then dinner starts at 6. And what we have is we'll have Polaski's prime rib for our dinner, as far as the meat is concerned, and then Marvin Tracy Schmidt from Bubba's Barbecue in Waukoma will provide the remainder of our meal: potatoes, vegetable, lettuce, salad, etc. Kiki's Desserts and Cheesecakes out of New Hampton is who will be helping us with the cheesecakes, the mini cheesecakes that we'll be serving that night as well. And then once we're done with the dinner at around 7 o'clock, we'll start with our live auction. And we also have a silent auction, and we'll be doing some 50-50 drawings that evening as well. So, we keep things moving along. We're going to have a little entertainment from our kids that are going to be putting on the musical this spring. We'll have a little skit from them to show off some of their skills and talents to us as well. And it's a good night to celebrate all things Turkey Valley. It really is a fun night for everybody.
And tell us a few examples of what the Turkey Valley Education Foundation has been able to do over the years to enhance the educational experiences of those kids in your district.
Well, some of those examples, and there's a long, long list of those examples, but one of them will be, when our junior high kids have gone to Washington, D.C., the last trip they made, we funded $260 towards each one of their cost of that trip. And the last time I looked, I can't remember exactly, but it's well over $1,200-$1,500, I believe, for that trip through Legacy Tour here in Decorah. And so we funded $260 for each one of the students to be able to take part in that trip. We've funded other reading programs. We have funded, just like this spring, our nurse at school, Natalie Schneider, will be taking the kids to the W down in Waverly in your neck of the woods, to go down and have a fun and fitness initiative day where they can learn about moving their body, outside of their own phys ed classes, and playing racquetball on a climbing wall, stuff like that. And so I think that's an important thing that we fund the busing and the cost to get into the W. Numerous field trips that teachers still take kids on to see different sights and sounds within the area. Those are just a few of the examples of things. We've had some really neat ones come up with some sound systems here this second semester for some elementary teachers, for a couple of our elementary teachers, so that kids that are having difficulties hearing, they'll have basically it's a surround sound system. And so we've funded that cost for that as well. And this spring, Rhonda Drilling, the success coordinator at Turkey Valley, who was one of the original members of the TV Education Founding Board, put in that there'll be math tutors available for kids through Mr. Amos's class in the high school to help with kids that might be struggling with math, and they can actually earn a few dollars tutoring kids that are maybe having some challenges in the math end of things too. So those are just a few things that we do, and that's what makes it fun. It's really a labor of love.
And you mentioned this can enhance directly the education, like the math tutoring you just brought up, but it also enhances the opportunities that people in many small districts might not get in today's day and age.
It does. I think it's a pretty well-known fact that public schools in Iowa, whether it's a school like Decorah or Turkey Valley or Southwind or Cresco or what, the funding for those public schools in our state has not been what it should be. And that's, I think, a well-documented fact. And so for us as a group, we can't fund staffing, salaries, benefits, and packages like that, but we can fund off other, programs, such as we said, like a reading wraparound program, different things like that, a math tutoring program. That's what we can help with. And so, last year we raised, I think, I didn't look up the exact totals from last year, but over $40,000 in one night. We've had a 3-year run back in 2016, 2017, 2018. Well, we raised over $160,000 in those 3 years. And when I say raised, that's a net amount of money raised in those 3 years. And Darren, you've been at Turkey Valley a lot with different things in your broadcasting career, and friends from Turkey Valley. And I don't know about what other people might think, but I think that's pretty incredible that we can do that and raise those kind of funds at a small school.
And no doubt about it, there's just definitely a sense of pride in your school district, and I've seen it in many other school districts as well. There's something special about growing up in a small town and the values and the lessons you learn and the growth you get by having that close-knit community like you guys do at Turkey Valley.
Yeah, it's I'm a graduate of Turkey Valley, and my son, you know him pretty well too, and he graduated from there. And it is, we've got a lot of really great schools here in our area. From Turkey Valley and all the surrounding schools are great schools that care about their kids, they care about their staff, they care about their district, and we're no different at Turkey Valley. And it's people ask me what is it like? I remember back in 2016 when we raised $65,000. Channel 7 News came up, did a story on it, and asked us, how did it happen? What do we do? And the answer wasn't simple, but I said, I attribute it to our staff and our administration at school. The support that we get from them is incredible. The 5 towns that make up the district, and really could throw a little turkey to 6, but Protivin and Wacoma and Lawler and St. Lucas and Fort Atkinson in the surrounding area are very, very supportive. And that's been woven into the fabric from when those 5 towns came together to make the school in 1960. And the surrounding areas, the Decorahs, the Crescos, the New Hamptons, the Kelmers, Sumners, the West Unions, etc. Those people know that there's people that leave the area and go out from their house in the morning and leave their family, go to work in those respective communities, and come back and raise their family and have their kids go to our school. And so they like to support our we get a lot of different people from outside, and then our alumni. Our alumni are absolutely, they're just tremendously giving for their time, their energy, their donations to us, and coming to the gala. It's I've since I've been board president, I've just carried this on, but from past board presidents I invite the alumni to stand up. I've tried to anyway. I think maybe I've not always done that, but stand up and say, hey, how many people here are Turkey Valley alums? How many people here are Turkey Valley alums that work at Turkey Valley? And I think those are important things to carry forward to the next generations of how it's important. Small rural schools hold an important piece in the state, and I think that we need to continue to do that, and we hope that we can help the school out do that.
For those that are interested, how do they purchase tickets to the gala?
Well, so ticket sales will go up till, we're going to cut them off here. Basically, we'll say Saturday morning this week. Probably some of my board members will say we meant Friday, but we need to get a number cut off because they're not available at the door. You can reach me at my cell phone number, which is 319-290-3945, or tickets are available at school at the front office of the high school office during normal school hours as well. But we do cut off the time so we know we have accurate numbers for our caterer and our food people. And we know as well what to plan for decorations and et cetera. And so because we'll start setting up basically next Thursday and at the Wacoma Event Center in Wacoma. They do such a great job down there. I'll put a plug in for them too, that if you've got an event that you need to host, whether it's a wedding or an anniversary or all the above, it's a truly a neat place, and they are so easy to work with, and they support us very, very well. And so again, that number is 319-290-3945 is my number. Feel free to call me, send me a text. You can check our Facebook page, Turkey Valley Education Foundation on the Facebook page as well, or you can contact school and they'll have tickets available there up through end of day on Friday.
Any thing we're missing? Anything else you want to pass on as long as you got the forum this morning?
No, I appreciate you letting me do this. I know we give each other a hard time a lot and whatnot, but I do appreciate you doing this and allowing us to talk about a great organization that, like you said, near and dear to my heart. And 10 years of doing this, and there's many people that came way before I did that have been really good at this, and were really insightful to have this happen, to sit down and do this. And one of them was Marilyn Hageman. And she was a teacher. I had her as a teacher. Many of the alumni had her as a teacher. She got that she got that rock to the edge of the cliff, and she started pushing it. And she wasn't on the original board, but she was there behind that board. And she, rest in peace, Marilyn. But she's an important part of this as well. And a lot of good members of that group. All the original members are now off the board, but they have continued to support us and be there at the gala when they can be. And we're just really appreciative of all the support that we do get.
Dave, appreciate the time talking about something near and dear to your heart, and something near and dear to a lot of people's heart out of the great school district, which is Turkey Valley. Thanks for taking the time. Best of luck with the gala next week, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.
You bet. Thank you.
Dave Anderson, he is with the Turkey Valley Education Foundation. Tickets available through this weekend, Saturday morning, preferably, for the gala coming up next Saturday night, March 16th at the Wacoma Event Center. Our monthly conversation with Decorah City Manager Travis Goedken. The City Council met earlier this week, and it was a 25-minute meeting. You got to cherish those, don't you, Travis?
That we do. You know, we're all about efficiency here.
Well, that's good to hear. But let's discuss something you discussed in a work session earlier this week. Actually, a week ago, Monday at night, you held a work session on several topics, including the renovation of the wastewater treatment plant and updating of that facility here in Decorah. Where is that project at right now?
Mm-hmm. So that project is going to, of course, cost some money. So we are in the process of securing what's called the State Revolving Loan Fund basically fund we're borrowing. And so we're in the application process for that with the State Revolving Loan Fund. And that project will take probably 2 years approximately from start to finish. Design is going on right now. We would bid later this year, the spring, summer time frame. But as far as actual construction, we're looking most of that probably being done in calendar 25.
And is this the first major upgrade to that facility since it was built, I think, probably in the 1980s, if memory serves?
Yes, so this is the first, what I would call major upgrade. Of course, there's been different improvements, repairs, equipment replaced out there in the meantime. But our staff out there has done a tremendous job of maintaining that, the plant that is out there when it was built. The state and federal dollars, even there were a lot of dollars being thrown around, and so we do have we have the Cadillac of wastewater treatment plants out there, and we're able to do a lot with it, and staff has done a great job maintaining it in this time.
And when it comes to that state revolving loan fund, is the interest for that money a little better than what regular interest rates are right now?
It is. Unfortunately, it used to be 2%, a static 2% rate, and they have adjusted that lately to better reflect market conditions, if you will. It is still below what you or I would pay for a house or a car, but that number is running around 3, maybe a little bit above 3 right now.
One thing you discussed last night is a bioretention cell project.
Mm-hmm.
Explain.
So I've got enough knowledge to be dangerous in this field, Darren.
And I've made a career out of that myself. So, hey, here we go.
Yeah, so a bioretention cell is a stormwater management practice that instead of us putting pipes in the ground with storm sewer intakes and taking water from point A and sending it to point B down the road as fast as possible, just to get the water away from spot A. What a bioretention cell does is at spot A, we create, I don't want to use the term pond because that implies that it's going to hold water and always going to have water in it. The intent behind these is to allow during a rain event for that pond area to fill up with water, and then slowly after the rain subsides, the plants absorb the water and the material, and it infiltrates into the ground and is absorbed by the plant life that is part of the cell. That's the bio part of bio, and retention is it holds the water.
And you also discussed stormwater improvements. How is that connected to the bioretention project? How is it not?
Mm-hmm. So bioretention cells, bioswales, infiltration basins, all of these are, we'll say, a shift in stormwater practices where, again, the traditional method was put in a storm sewer intake, some pipe under the ground, and send it from A over to B and just get rid of the water. Well, there has been a shift in how we manage stormwater practices, that instead of trying to get the water away as fast as possible, let's use the existing soil conditions to serve as a sponge and hold that water and then slowly release it, whether it's into the surrounding creeks or into the river. Allow that water to slowly make its way into the river instead of dumping everything straight into it.
Another matter, the council approved a application for an energy efficient and conservation block grant, because that's easier to say than the acronym in my opinion. What would, if approved, what would this what would these grant dollars be put towards?
Sure, Darren. So the EECBG.
Well done.
Right? Yep. You say it often enough, it just rolls off the tongue. So that grant application that'll be submitted it's going to be essentially a partnership with Northeast Iowa Community Action Council to serve two of their properties, the Woolen Mill Apartments as well as the Washington Court Apartments, to retrofit those buildings with high efficiency air heat pumps so that it'll be a more efficient heating source for those apartments, as well as work with low moderate income owner occupied properties to provide energy audits and some technical expertise to apply that the homeowner can actually apply for additional either grants or credits based on what energy improvements they might take on. It will be a city project or city application. Does include a $20,000 allocation as a local match to finance the $250,000 plus total project.
Let's go back to a couple of issues that you discussed at your work session a week ago, Monday night, a City Hall building report. I know you've looked at all aspects of City Hall for a while now. What did that report say?
Mm-hmm. You're right, Darren. So this tale is longer than my tenure here, predates my arrival. Well, we're continuing to try and discuss and use the data to analyze what our best steps forward are going to be. We did ask the consultant on the report back to establish 3 criteria. One is what do we have to do? What are we not either ADA compliant, building code compliant? Where are we deficient for those types of improvements here to the municipal building? So both City Hall, fire station, and down into the police department. Next step would be, what are things that we should anticipate? Mechanical failures, electrical upgrades that'll be needed. What are things that we should anticipate being needed within the next 10 years? And the third and final being, what should we consider to, whether it's increase energy efficiency, to lower our heating costs? What are other considerations that we should take in? And again, also 3 timelines. One is immediate. What should we immediately expect needing replaced, or what we immediately need to rectify for code compliance? What should we anticipate 5 years out? What should we anticipate 10 years out? So the report that the city received, we had a team of, whether it was electrical engineer, structural engineer, plumbing, HVAC, I mean, a number of experts from Brunton Architects and their sub-consultants in going through this building for the entire day, from the crawl space underneath the building all the way up to on the roof, and very detailed report on what they were able to observe, and a pretty good analysis on what we could anticipate for future expenses. And the big question is, knowing that roughly $1 million is what they estimated for costs for immediate need repairs, whether it's code compliance, OSHA requirements, or other mechanical features that they anticipate needing to be replaced now because we're on borrowed time with them, at $1 million estimated initial cost. Now it's put into staff's hands where we would prioritize, okay, realistically, we have a $40,000 to $50,000 a year budget for maintenance on this building. How would we implement those repairs, and what would we repair?
And as of this time, we've talked about the budget challenges with the city. Where would you find additional money other than the $40,000 to $50,000 that you just mentioned to potentially do some of these repairs and upgrades?
Mm-hmm. Anything of real significance done to this building would have to be borrowed. That's just not, we don't have a reserve account that carries enough of a balance to make significant repairs to the building, significant renovations. Or, I know fire department has discussed additions. They do have some serious, we'll call it subgrade issues within. If the fire station has the doors open on the east bays, as you drive by, you got 2 fire trucks that are leaning, that are, almost, give it a couple of years and the tops will be touching, because the floor is actually the floor is falling in underneath that bay of the fire station. So any significant repairs, improvements, or additions, renovations would take a borrowing.
Council set a public hearing on the initial levy rate for fiscal year 2025 last night. When will that public hearing be? What is the levy rate? How does that rate compare to the current fiscal year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this has been a culmination of many, many meetings, and I should have known you'd ask what that levy rate exactly is going to be. So I'm going to stall a little bit as I pull that up.
No.
But so the hearing itself will be on April 1st at 5:00 p.m. here at City Hall. This is a new legislative or new requirement based on House File 718 from last year. So every resident within the city and all of Wenatchee County will receive a notice of what the city, the county, and the school district are proposing for their levies, how it compares to last year's budget, and what the actual impacts are not the actual impacts for their property, but what the actual impacts for a example property are going to amount to. And if I pull this up quick.
Sorry, I didn't bring the Jeopardy theme music here to fill some time, but nonetheless, we want to get that accurate information out.
That you do. And as I jump to that page in our 107-page budget document,
all on a PDF to be green and environmentally friendly, of course.
That is right. And every time you make a rendition, you got to go through and change about 7 different spots. But we are looking at a levy of $16.27, almost 28 cents, which is down from last year's $16.40 levy. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, but Travis, my assessed value jumped up considerably this year. In the state of Iowa, we have what's called the assessment limitation order, or what we all call the rollback. In Iowa, that rollback, after being applied, in Decorah, your residential property taxes are still going down as a result of both the rollback and the decrease in this levy from a city perspective. Now, I can't speak to what the county and what the school district's levies look like, but the city's ask is a decrease from last year.
And we should emphasize with your property tax bill, just the way it's set up in the state of Iowa, the school district is the number one collector of the property taxes, because it's the easiest way for them to collect revenue. Other entities have other ways to collect revenue other than the school districts. Is that a fair assessment?
On the average, yes.
Yeah.
Across the state of Iowa. In Decorah, the city has been slightly ahead of the school district as of late, I believe.
Okay.
I believe so. but as an average,
Okay.
yes, across the state, mostly it's the school district.
You got some openings on city boards and commissions. How can people get involved should they desire?
Yes, absolutely. We have openings on Sustainability Commission, on Board of Adjustment, on the Civil Service Commission, and I believe the final is Tree Board. But we have several openings within our boards and commissions. If individuals are interested, go to the city's website, decorahia.org, and you can find all the information available right there on the website.
That's what I got in my notebook. What do you got on your Microsoft Word document? Anything remaining?
No, Darren, I think we covered, like you said, 25-minute meeting last night. Very, very efficient, and I think we've got all the high points covered.
All right, Travis, appreciate the time as always. Look forward to our talk in the first week of April. No fooling.
Sounds great, Darren.
Travis Goedken, City Manager of Decorah. We appreciate the three guests that we had on the program this morning. Maddie Putnam from Wenatchee County Development talking about a new career development services program that Wenatchee County Development, Northeast Iowa Community College are putting together in conjunction with the Decorah Community School District. Dave Anderson with the Turkey Valley Education Foundation, their gala banquet coming up a week from Saturday night at the Wacoma Events Center. Get a hold of Dave, 319-290-3945 if you want tickets to that event. And always good to catch up with Travis Goedken, City Manager of Decorah, for joining us here on the program and telling us what's going on in the city of Decorah. Don't forget, we put these shows on YouTube each and every week. We realize you're busy. You can't exactly get to radio or a smart speaker at 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning, but we have the opportunity to talk to important people in our community, informative, entertaining people each and every week. We want to bring it to you on your schedule. If you're out on YouTube, 3-7 Our Town program is the way to go on that end of things. And we also put these links up on all of our LA Communication radio station Facebook pages, so you can get this information on your schedule. Another way we do our best to keep in touch with our communities here at LA Communications. Thank you to our guests. Thank you to our sponsor, Decorah Bank and Trust. And we thank you, that's right, you, for tuning in, for logging on, or for watching Our Town on 94.9 and 99.1 The River.